Welcome back to another episode of the DFS Express presented by Loudmouth MMA and MMAtoday.com. I am your host, the DFS Sniper, here to talk UFC St. Louis. The main event is Doo Ho Choi versus Jeremy Stephens. Here in the Express, we shoot for in just 10 minutes to roll through every fight and build a sample tournament GPP lineup for DraftKings. Again, these are DraftKings specific picks, so sometimes different than the fight picks. I'll mention that as we go through. Looking to get back on track this week. Again, if you guys could please give me a follow on Twitter at the DFS Sniper. Also, feel free to send me a tweet, comment some of these videos. Most of the time, like interacting with people. Had a few trolls out there, but it's all in good fun. So yeah, talk some fights. Give me a follow on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And let's get right into it. Doo Ho Choi, 8,500 against Jeremy Stephens, 7,700. Jeremy Stephens has become a very popular upset pick. I can't do it. Doo Ho Choi is just, I think he's too accurate. Stephens, he scored so highly on DraftKings last time because he got 5 knockdowns against Gilbert Melendez. Just tore up the front leg of Melendez. I don't think that's not going to happen here against Doo Ho Choi, who is he's crazy accurate. He has good footwork. I think in the clinch, he might have an advantage, and he could get the fight to the ground. So all of those kind of X factors make Choi the better DraftKings play. I'm picking him to win the fight straight up, but even if you are slightly leaning Stephens, I'm just really worried about his volume. It is knockout or bust for him to make value, and Choi showed in the Cub-Swanson war he can take a punch. So I like Doo Ho Choi both straight up and as my preferred DraftKings play. Uriah Hall, 9,100 against Vitor Belfort, 7,100. I'm probably not going to have a ton of this fight either way. I can't trust Vitor Belfort at all. And Uriah Hall, again, he was getting beat up by Christoph Jacko. He's going to need a knockout to make value. He could get it. We've seen Belfort's chin greatly deteriorate the last few years. But even if Hall gets a quick knockout, he's not guaranteed to be on the winning tournament lineup because he is so expensive. Hall's the better play. Big power, better footwork. Again, Vitor Belfort is he's an age fighter at this point, so I like Uriah Hall at 9,100, but he won't make a lot of my tournament rosters. Jessica Rose Clark, 8,200 against Paige Van Zant, 8,000. I like Jessica Rose Clark. I think she's going to be too big for Paige Van Zant. Just in terms of how they matched up with Beck Rawlings size-wise, I think Jessica Rose Clark is bigger. Definitely watch the weigh-ins on Friday. I'm going to make sure that's the case. But if she does have the size advantage, I think Paige Van Zant likes to fight in the clinch. Jessica Rose Clark, I think, can get this fight to the ground, can outmuscle her there, and just throw some more volume in the decision. I like Jessica Rose Clark. She's my preferred play at 8,200, but I will be watching weigh-ins closely. Kamaru Usman, 9,400. Emil Meek, 6,800. I won't spend too much time on this one. If you can fit in Kamaru Usman, go ahead and do it. I don't know why Meek wanted this fight so bad, but I think Usman is by far the better fighter. Grappling, power. Give me Usman. You might want to take a shot on Meek in tournaments because he should be super low owned. I just don't think it's for me. Kamaru Usman, 9,400. Michael Johnson, 8,600. Darren Elkins, 7,600. What's interesting about this is Michael Johnson, this is his debut at featherweight. I saw an article saying he's just having nightmares about this cut. I hope he makes it for his sake. But I'm going to take Darren Elkins because there's a path to victory for Johnson at 8,600, but he needs a knockout in the first 2.5 minutes. He has the hand speed and power to do it, but I think Elkins can get a takedown. I think he gets Johnson to the ground. If not in the first round, in the second and third, as Johnson has had cardio issues at 55. Even if he makes 45, the cardio issues should obviously be even more prevalent. I'll take Darren Elkins to grind out a decision win. Or actually, I like this fight to be a late stoppage for Elkins with a gassed-out Johnson. Or Johnson gets a quick finish, but my preferred play is Elkins because of the grappling upside, and I do think he gets takedowns, and he's only 7,600. I'll take the discount and play Darren Elkins. James Krause, 8,400. Alex White, 7,800. This is a fight I'm going to greatly avoid on DraftKings, mostly because both guys you never really know what you're going to get out of them. They both have had good performances and have both turned up and put up duds. I'm going to lean James Krause. I think he's cleaner on the feet. I think he might have a grappling advantage. I mostly think he disrupts the rhythm of Alex White, and White is not able to get comfortable in the pocket, and Kraus ultimately takes a decision. I'm not sure about paying off the 8,400 price tag, but he is the pick. Matt Frivola, 8,900. Polo Reyes, 7,300. I like Frivola a lot. Reyes has been taken down a lot. Frivola has good wrestling, big power if it becomes a brawl. Frivola's shots are a little looping, and Reyes has been in some tough wars. I just think Frivola's power and mostly his wrestling and submission game are going to be the difference here. I like Frivola at 8,900. I think he's an interesting pivot in tournaments off of some of the more popular plays. Zach Cummings, 8,800. Thiago Alves, 7,400. Speaking of one of the more popular plays, I think Zach Cummings is going to be popular. I really like him here. I'm betting him straight up. I'm going to have a bunch of him. He's just way bigger than Alves. Longer, has good takedown submissions. Alves's only weapon is the leg kick. He's going to have to be faster and get in and out and tear up the front leg of Cummings. I don't see it happening here. I think Alves is slowed down a bunch, and Cummings, as I mentioned, too big, too strong. I think he's a little bit too much here for Thiago Alves at 8,800. Jessica I, 8,100. Kalindra Faria, 8,100. Ooh, that's my breakdown in this fight. Faria has no ground game. Jessica I has no confidence. She's been saying forever she's a great flyweight. Well, this is the fight at flyweight. I'm going to lean Jessica I for the experience and just how bad Faria's ground game was. I don't think I is going to take the fight there, even though she probably should. The pick is I, but not a fight. I'm going to key in on DraftKings. I don't think it'll be a ton of volume unless there's a submission somewhere. It's possible, but that's the only way I see this fight really paying off points-wise. So I'm pretty much going to avoid it, but if you make me pick one, I'll take Jessica I. Irene Aldana, 9,000. Talita Bernardo, 7,200. I think this is a women's fight that the winner really could end up on the winning roster here. Aldana is either going to outpoint and outvolume and outstrike Bernardo, who gassed last time out against Marion Renault, and rack up a lot of significant strikes en route to a win, maybe getting a late finish. Bernardo, though, in that fight against Renault, arguably won. She definitely won the first round. The second round was close, and she just gassed out. She took it on short notice, but she's had gas tank issues before. What I do like about her is she's a BJJ specialist. Her striking isn't very good. She has to be able to get Aldana to the ground. I just like the grappling upside here because there's not a ton of underdogs that I really like on this card. And I like grappling upside for DraftKings. So I'm going to lean the DraftKings pick here as Talita Bernardo, mostly because of salary and grappling upside. So she's my preferred play at 7,200. Kang against Kennedy. Kang is 9,200, coming off of a long layoff because of his service in the South Korean military versus Guido Kennedy, who is 7,000 pop for steroids last time out. I think Kennedy's a little one-dimensional. Kang is an exciting, explosive guy. Both haven't fought in a while, so the rush should be even. I think Kang pretty much overmatches Kennedy. The problem is he's 9,200, but when I can, I will play Kang. Two more fights left. J.J. Aldrich, 8,300. Danielle Taylor, 7,900. Even if you think Taylor's going to win this fight, Taylor is just never a good DraftKings play. There's just not enough volume there. She's in and out, uses her movement, dances away, not enough power to get a finish because she's a natural 105er. Aldrich will at least throw volume. I'm picking her to win the fight, but even if I wasn't, she is the preferred DraftKings play, 8,300, just because of the volume. Mike Santiago, 8,700. Mads Burnell. Both these guys had tough UFC debuts. Santiago took on Zabit Magomed Sharapov. Mads Burnell at 7,500 took on Michel Prazeres. Santiago impressed a lot of people in that fight against Zabit. I like Mads here just because I really target grapplers on DraftKings. Santiago is also going to be really popular, so in GPPs, Burnell is the better play. Cash games, it's Santiago, so a bit of a split there on this last fight. I play more tournaments, so I'm going to lean Burnell because I think Santiago goes really high on him. Burnell, if he does get a win, I think it's through his grappling, and he's just incredibly strong, and he should have a size advantage coming down to 145 from lightweight. Okay, flipping over to DraftKings, going to build a sample lineup. As a reminder, we're building a GPP lineup, which means I'm not taking safe fighters. I'm trying to come in first place. As you saw UFC 219, I had a bad week. This lineup could very well come in last. I'm going to enter this into the $4 sprawl. a lot of entries. You need to make your lineups different, leave some money on the table, and not play those chalk guys. So that's kind of my disclaimer, but let's get to it this week and try and build a winning lineup, not one that comes in the middle. I'm going to sort by salary. Kamaru Usman, again, would be great to fit in. I think he's going to be really popular. So I'm actually going to go for the pivot here in Kang at 9,200 and put him in. And one of my more confident picks in the card, I want to play either Favola or Cummings. Cummings is probably more popular. Favola, grappling upside. I'm going to scroll past this for now and come back to it, see what I can fit in. A good example of being different is Paige Van Zandt is going to be very popular just because of the casual fan. I have that lean towards Jessica Rose Clark, so I'm going to go with that at 8,200 also. There's some grappling upside, price savings, and I think Clark will make my lineup different, so a bit of a trifecta there. Lock me in. Darren Elkins at 7,600 I mentioned. I really think he's a good chance to win his fight. If I want to pay up, I'm probably going to need one more underdog, or I can try and stick in the mid-range. The mid-range this week in tournaments, I'm not loving, so I'm going to go down towards the bottom here. Again, I'm trying to build a winning lineup, so I'm going to go with Talita Bernardo, even though she's an underdog. Again, if she wins, this grappling submission upside, so I'll put in Bernardo. That also allows me to pay up 8,900 per fighter left, and that actually lets me put in both Zach Cummings and Favola. So that is our lineup this week. Kang, Clark, Elkins, Bernardo, Cummings, Favola. That is our GPP lineup. Guys, I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up, a like. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. I fell a little short last year, so working up to that. Appreciate all your support. Good luck in your contest. I will see you next week for UFC 220.